happy Thanksgiving, everybody. So today, I'm going to give you a couple of stories about Thanksgiving. Customarily, I would tell my classes these stories in class, but we are obviously not in class these days. But I kind of wanted to continue this tradition. This is going to be a couple stories. One of them is called How to Cook a 40-Pound Turkey. And then the other one is Where Did All the Food Go? Now, I don't know anybody that are in these pictures. I just pulled them off the internet to kind of help you get a sense of things. The first story is about how to cook a 40-pound turkey. And the way it goes is, well, back in the late part of the 80s, my wife and we were living in Spokane, Washington at the time, and it's before we had kids or anything. And my wife and a friend of hers decided to raise turkeys. And this friend had kind of this suburban mini farm, and she had a goat and a goose and chickens and all that kind of stuff. So they decided they were going to raise some turkeys so we could eat them at Thanksgiving. So they went down to wherever they sell baby turkeys at, and grabbed 5 baby turkeys. And they got 5 because they thought, well, we don't know what we're doing. So probably 2 or 3 will die along the way. So they take the little baby turkeys, take them to the mini farm and start feeding them. And this is in I don't know, I would say April or May, something like that. And the friend, they bought whatever you feed turkeys. And they fed these turkeys and fed these turkeys and fed these turkeys. And just to give you a sense of how big a 40-pound turkey is there's one that lady's holding, and I'll show you another picture in a minute. And they raised them, and all 5 turkeys lived. And my job in this whole thing was basically to haul the turkeys to the poultry butcher guy to get them ready to eat for Thanksgiving. So, if the friend was out of town, we'd go over and feed the turkeys and stuff, but I didn't have too much to do with all of this. So anyway, these turkeys just thrive, and we'd never raised turkeys before, so we didn't know. They just looked pretty healthy to us. So it got time to haul these turkeys up to a place called Deer Park, and this is outside of Spokane, to this guy that butchers them and gets them ready for you to eat. And so I had a little pickup truck and kind of had some wire fencing around, so I kind of made a cage in the back because you couldn't take them up dead. You had to take them alive. So anyway, so that was my job. But here's another picture to kind of give you a sense of how big a cooked 40-pound turkey is. It's as big as the little guy there. So that gives you a little context. So anyway, so I get up to the little farm there and get my pickup pulled in, and I've got to get all these 5 turkeys in the back of my truck. So this is kind of a picture here of how big 40-pound turkeys are. And a cooked 40-pound turkey before it's dressed out is about 50 pounds. So, that gives you some idea. So my job was to get them over in the truck. So I go up there, and we ended up having 2 males, and they were the really big ones, and 3 females, and they weren't small. So I got to get them in the back of my truck. Now, the two males were pretty easy because this is the drawing I would usually draw on the whiteboard in school. So don't critique my art here. Okay, so this is supposed to be a turkey, right? You can say gobble. The 2 male turkeys were so big that their legs had buckled out from under them, so they weren't moving around too good. So I could just kind of kick them over to the truck. And so I got the first one over to the truck, and I had no idea how heavy a turkey was. So, I was thinking, 30 pounds, who knows? I don't know anything about turkeys. So anyway, I go to lift the first turkey in, and you know how they say lift with your legs and not with your back. Well, I lifted with my back. So the first turkey felt like somebody just shot me in the lower back. You know, I just kind of pulled those muscles. So I was mad already. So I tossed him in and I get the other one in and I get the other three in and I start heading for Deer Park. So I drive up there and I pull in and go in and get the guy, and he comes out and he's looking in the back of my truck and he's just shaking his head like, oh man, what have you got here? And I said, well, is there something wrong? And he said, well, you know, usually people don't let their turkeys get this big. And I said, well, are these big turkeys? And he said, yeah, they're really, really big. I said, well, you know, if you can you do them? And he said, well, yeah, I can do them. I just I haven't seen them this big for a long time. So we get those guys out of the truck, um, and I kissed him goodbye. And he said, come back in a couple days and they'll be ready to go. So I went home and recovered, dressed it up my back, and went back up to get them. And when I got there, the guy, because he charged by a pound, so you know, it wasn't bad, but he said the 2 males dressed out at 40 pounds and the 3 females dressed out at between 32 and 35. So I said, well, okay, great, man. So I load them in the front of my pickup. So I drive back to Spokane with about 250 pounds of turkey next to me. And the plan is my wife and I would keep one of the big ones and then one of the females, and then the friend would keep one of the big ones and 2 of the females because we raised them at her farm. So sound fair to me. We decide that all my family's in Spokane. So when we were there, so we decided to have everybody come over for Thanksgiving that year. And I was going to cook this giant turkey. And so we had about 20, 25 people coming over. So I had to get this turkey cooked, right? So just to kind of give you a sense, that's a 40-pound turkey also. So so I'm out there the day before, the afternoon before Thanksgiving, kind of getting everything ready and getting ready to figure out what to do with this turkey. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to cook it for a long time because it's 40 pounds. So I want to at least get it ready. So I went looking around the house. I pulled the 40-pound turkey out to find something to cook the turkey in. And there's nothing in our house that a 40-pound turkey will fit in. And so I kind of called around, and people wanted crazy money for great big real kind of pans, you know. So I'm you know, I think I'm smart, but I don't know. So I thought, well, look, I'm going to go ahead and go to the store and see what I can find. So I went down to the grocery store, and they had those, you know, big aluminum throwaway pans that you can use. Well, there wasn't one that was big enough to really do this turkey. So I thought, well, I'm going to get 2, and I'm going to get some foil and stuff, and I'm going to cut the sides out of these pans and kind of make one big pan out of 2 of them. You know, makes sense, right? And so that's what I did. As a matter of fact, it was weird. I found this picture on the internet of a guy that was doing the same thing, and you'll notice his turkey's like 38 pounds. He had the same problem. So you can see he's got this kind of cut here, and he's got some kind of foil kind of tape or something. He's got a great idea. You know, he stole my idea. I'm sure that he's going to put these pans together and make one pan, you know, because that's a cheap way to do it. So I'll talk more about my great idea later, but it wasn't that great of an idea. Okay, so I get my custom-made pans put together, and I'm kind of quickly realizing, you know, this is going to take a while to cook, so I need to try to get them in the oven and get cooking, you know. And the only way I could even see that I could get them in the oven, I would have to put the rack on the very, very bottom, which meant I would have to cook it very, very on a low heat, like 200, 225. Otherwise, it would just, you know, burn the heck out of the bottom. So I got this turkey in the pan, and I'm trying to figure out now, I got these flimsy pan. How am I going to get this turkey in the oven by myself? And I kind of quickly came to the conclusion that I'm not going to get it in the oven by myself without just, you know, having a giant mess. So I called my brother who worked in Spokane, and I said, hey, on your way home, stop by my house. I need a little help with something. And he said, well, what do you need help with? I said, don't worry about it. I'll give you a beer. Stop by. Just take a minute. So he shows up, and it took both of us to get this turkey in the oven. As a matter of fact, once we had okay, so real quick, here's my picture of, this is kind of your standard oven. Here's the pan, here's the turkey. It took two of us to get it in the oven. So we kind of got the bottom started, the front of it. And while he pushed in, I pushed down on the turkey to get it to fit in the oven. But we did get it in there. So, so I had a beer with him and sent him home. So I've got this turkey cooking, about 220, I can't remember, 225, pretty low. And everything's going along really good. I mean, this is going to be great. People are going to be so impressed with this 40-pound turkey. It's just going to be exciting. And so I'll just throw another picture of a 40-pound turkey up here. I'm surprised how many 40-pound turkeys are on the internet. So my wife gets home, and we're kind of just, got the house cleaned up, and we're getting things ready for the next day. And we got done, and we were sitting in the living room, and my wife said, well, what's that smell? And I said, yeah, I don't know. She said, man, that's not a good smell. Something's going on. I think that turkey's burning. And I said, no, I don't think so. Jim, you better go check. So I go check. And what had happened is, it was the turkey stinking up the place. But what had happened is my custom made super duper pan kind of blew a leak, and the turkey juice was dropping down on the burners, down on the bottom, the heating elements. And that didn't smell good. And I was telling my wife about it. She said, well, you got to do something about it. We got a bunch of people coming over tomorrow. And I said, well, I don't think there's anything I can do. I can't get that. I'm not pulling that thing out of the oven now and starting all over. She said, but you got to do something. You got to do something. I said, no. I said, if you want, I'll go to the store and get a bunch of air freshener spray or something if you think that'll help. But I'm not pulling this turkey out of the oven. We're in, we're committed now. And so she wasn't very happy with me, but I said, look, here's what's going to happen. People are going to come over. They may smell the smell, but they're going to I'm going to make them go look at that turkey, and they're going to see that turkey, and they're going to be so amazed by my 40-pound turkey that the smell won't even matter to them. And she wasn't buying it, but that was the best I had. So we kind of get the turkey cooked up. And so now it's time for people start showing up for dinner. And so I'm taking them in the kitchen and saying, man, you got to see this turkey. And they're all going, ooh, wow, that's really cool. That's really the biggest turkey I've ever seen. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. So they didn't really care about how things smelled, as far as I know. So now it's time to get this turkey out of the oven, which, you think normally would be pretty simple, but I kind of tried to get it out, and I couldn't get it out. So I called some of my brother and my cousins, and whoever was there. And I said, I kind of need help getting this turkey out of the oven. And so what we had to do was we had to kind of carefully, gingerly slide the bottom rack out. And there was like a guy on there. We had oven mitts on, baseball gloves. I don't even know what we had on to keep from burning our hands. But one guy on each corner of that rack to get it out without the whole thing just falling apart. And then we had about probably 4 or 5 feet to the counter to go. And of course, this thing's dripping juice all over the place. So as we're trying to slide across the floor to get this, up on the counter so we can work on it, this crap's just falling all over the place. And the floor is getting slippery. But we made it over there. No tragedies, no accidents, no mishaps. Nobody fell down. And so I successfully actually cooked a 40-pound turkey, if you call that a success. So then I was kind of going to start carving the thing. And once you start carving it, until you really do, you really have no idea how much meat is on a 40-pound turkey. And to just kind of give you an idea, I could have fed everybody, just on one breast. It was the size of a football, that's how big it is. But Anyway, how'd that happen? So anyway, kind of to get to the end of the story, uh, we had turkey. It was really good. Maybe a little dry on the top, but it was really good. I had so much turkey. Everybody took a bunch of turkey home with them. And that's my story about how I, successfully cooked a 40-pound turkey. Um, what we did with the other one was actually even better. We decided to freeze the other one and then uh, go have it smoked before Super Bowl Sunday. And that one turned out really good. I took it down to this place where they smoke turkeys and stuff. And oh man, that was really, 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 really good. I wish I'd have done that with this one, but you live and learn. So the moral of this story is, um, if you ever raise turkeys, which they're pretty easy to do, it's hard to kill them. Don't let them get that big. It's no fun. So I wouldn't advise it, but it was a quite of a thrilling thing. I really wish I had pictures, and I do have pictures of this, but we've moved several times since then and I've never been able to find them. So this is the best I could do. So part one of this saga is now over, and this is how to cook a 40-pound turkey. Now, the next story is called Where Did the Food Go? So I need to give you a little kind of background information on this. So, a lot of families kind of have a tradition where they rotate holidays around, and one family, hosts it, and then the next year somebody else hosts it and stuff. And this was, again, Stillwater and Spokane. I was kind of maybe 13, 14 years old at the time, 12, I don't know. So this was the year we were going to my aunt and uncle's house, and it was my, I'm not going to give any names here, but it was my dad's brother, twin brother, and his wife. And my uncle is a great guy. Being a twin, though, this is just an aside. When my dad passed away, it took me about 6 months where I could be around my uncle because he sounded and looked just like my dad, and it kind of made me feel weird. But I got over it. Anyway, but his wife, she was nice enough, but she was kind of quirky. And I try to think of a way to describe her that's not too unkind, but maybe this helps. She's the kind of person, as an adult, who would cheat a 5-year-old at Chutes and Ladders to win. I don't know what her problem was. She just couldn't lose. And she was kind of stingy in a way. So, but anybody that would cheat a 5-year-old at Chutes and Ladders, you got to kind of wonder about. So anyway, so Thanksgiving with my family kind of rolls this way. You kind of eat in the afternoon, 2 or 3, eat all you want to eat. But then you kind of leave the food out a little bit so people can kind of snack on it as the day goes by and kind of graze on it, which is my favorite part of it. Matter of fact, I don't really get excited for Thanksgiving. I like the leftovers better than I like the day of Thanksgiving. So that's kind of what I live for. It's like I don't really like hot turkey. I like it cold, and I really like it in sandwiches and stuff. So anyway, so going about, everybody's having a good time. The kids, I've got a bunch of cousins, and their kids were about the same age as we were, and goofing around and playing outside and playing football and stuff. And so it's time to eat. Everybody comes in and eats, and eats till they're done eating. And then we kind of go about our business, for a while, and we're playing and messing around, and guys are watching football and whatever people do on Thanksgiving. And we kind of were looking for a little piece of turkey or something to kind of snack on. We go out there and the food's gone. The food just disappeared. And you look in the fridge, no food in the fridge. I don't know where it went. And so kind of, we're kind of freaking out, and we go over to I can remember going over to my parents and my dad and said, Dad, where's the food? I kind of want some more turkey. And these guys all kind of knew how my aunt was. And believe me, my family is the most non-confrontational bunch of people in the world. They're not going to stir anything up anywhere they go, even if it's at a relative's. It's just like, And I can even see my dad and hear him going, just shut up, just shut up, just shut up. We'll get you something to eat later. Just don't make a fist. Just shut up, leave it alone. Okay. So I thought, well, there's going to be pie later. I'll be okay. And, and all the kids are kind of, even the adults, you can tell are bothered by it, but they're nobody's going to say anything. Yeah, it was funny. So we kind of go about the rest of the afternoon. Now it's time for pie, man. And I'm telling you what, here's like dinner, which is fun. We never had flower petals all over the table, but that's pretty cool. So, to me, here's a happy refrigerator, just full of a food, leftovers. And then there's nothing, and people brought stuff over, like you do, like my aunt cooked the turkey and, whatever. And then people brought side dishes and, it's pretty traditional, pretty, normal. So now it became pie time, which I really like pies. For my birthday, I'd rather have an apple pie than a cake. So the pies come out, and I'm kind of a lot of us, like I like all kinds of different pies, so I, maybe eat a piece of this pie and then wait a little bit and maybe we'll have a piece of pumpkin pie and, just kind of graze around with the pies. And everybody was kind of that way. Well, that day, if you didn't get your pie the first round, you were just out of luck. Those are beautiful pies, aren't they? Anyway, so we go to get some more pie and all the pies are gone. So it was like a repeat of the food. So I go over to my dad. Dad, man, there's no pies left. Can we get some more pie? I want some more pie. My dad just went, just shut up, just shut up, just shut up. Don't start anything. We'll get some more pie later or something. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Okay. So there's the question is where did the food go? I mean, it wasn't in the fridges. We couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know what to this day, I don't know what that woman did with the food. There's nothing but empty pie plates and empty Tupperware, man. It was this isn't that a sad sight? You're expecting to take some leftovers of home and all your Tupperware is empty. To this day, we even still talk about it, the cousins, except we don't talk about it with her kids because we don't want to be jerks about it. We still wonder to this day what happened to all that food. It is like a mystery. So this is a weird Thanksgiving, I'll tell you. We never, nobody ever had Thanksgiving at her house again. Everybody would else step in and stop that disaster. I mean, the food was good, but man, you don't hide people's food. We didn't even get the food that people brought. They didn't even get that back. So they just got their empty Tupperware. And I'm telling you, my family, they're weird. They never said a word. They just, no, thank you, nice day. It was screwed up, man. So those are my two Thanksgiving stories. So I'm sure that it'll become a family tradition that you pull out your iPad and show these videos every Thanksgiving, even to your children when you have them. So, well, thanks for indulging me, and I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. And we're just about got this semester wrapped up. Looking forward to that. So we will talk later.